Yeah, I'm starting a new recording now, so we'll have a clean start here. But
Okay.
yeah, so we're taking questions about the
And
transition of Dominion.game. So, how long has it been in the works? I guess I could go back and look at my DMs with Steph to see the first time that we started talking about it.
I think it was May. At least it was in the summer.
It's been a while, and then
There has
I
been
was
nothing
moved.
going on for a few months.
Yeah,
and
we started talking
then
about it. Uh, okay. Mm, the first message that I have on this topic was all the way back in April 9th.
okay,
Uh,
1 month.
but so then there was some negotiating and discussion, and even probably sometime in May or whatever, we started talking to Donald X about it. And then Donald X heard about it in June. Okay. Uh, so then, I mean, I had a pretty busy summer, and there were some. I don't know. It's kind of complicated, uh, making it work, making this business stuff work, and I've never started a business before, so I I got a little overwhelmed, to be honest, and uh, it took a little while to be able to really be focused enough to make it all happen. But then, and I was traveling a lot over the summer with my family and stuff like that, so that was a lot of distraction, I guess. But um, yeah, I guess already from before I started talking to Steph, I was already talking to Breppert, though, um, because he was also interested in uh, working for the website. Um, so yeah, um, so Breppert was involved for a long time. Uh, as I mean, it was like always a plan that he was going to work on the website, and
I don't know if this question is purely about the past or also the future a bit. And I'm not even sure if we posted that somewhere. But the idea is that, well, for certain preppers and uh, Charur will do more of the front end. And I don't know what my long time plans are, but at least for another year, I will be working on the site as well.
yeah. So let's see. I
Tomorrow's
feel
database transition is about like I had an AWS account, Amazon Web Services, and we decided to recreate everything on the Amazon account of the new company. To well, there are some advantages to it. One of them is being absolutely sure that everything is transferred, but it's certainly also just to get good documentation on what's what and
yeah,
start over with the machines with new versions of the machines.
yeah. I
So
say
tomorrow is about uh,
this
yeah,
date.
we will start by making a dump of the old database and then enable the bin log and import the dump in the new database. And for a little while, they will be in sync. And shortly after, we will just point all the machines to the new database. And I think shortly after that, maybe 1 or 2 days after that, we will also start using the production machines, the servers on the new AWS account. But I don't expect anyone to actually even notice that we will do that switch. It's basically the database switch is the one you will probably notice. We've already switched over the store service, and like there are a couple of more of these services that run on independent machines. The mailer service, the rating service. Uh,
Yeah. So basically, it's just a part of a transitioning to all new machines on a that are associated with a new account um, from Amazon, and so it's not going to be that exciting. There's definitely uh, exciting things will be happening in the future, but this thing that's happening tomorrow is not one of them, I guess, from the player's perspective. Um,
And there are some like I've been trying to get Brevard up to speed in the backend mostly for the past month, I think. We started a bit before the transition started happening. And well, we worked on some things that we would like to have already.
it's been fun to
So
go to become colleagues. It's exciting. I mean, I've been really nervous about this since the beginning, to be honest, because I had to basically a rough vision for how to make a lot of improvements, and one of the main pieces of that was to was like a financial thing. So like and yeah. So I mean, I'm trying to. I think the Dominion card that best describes the role that I want to have is steward. I guess I want to be the steward of things, but like yeah, and I mean, I think I have some ideas about strategy for the website and everything, but I mean, really, it's like on the back of Steph, Breppert, and Shurer, and also a lot of other volunteers that work on testing and helping us with ideas and everything, making everything good. So, I mean, my primary contribution is so far is financial, um, but yeah, I'm excited about it. I think they're working on something right now that I'm pretty excited about. Maybe we could mention what that is. Do you think it's a good time?
yeah, sure, you can, yeah.
Yeah. So Breppert mainly designed a timer, and we just started testing it. So I don't know how long it will be before it um, before the broader community will get to try it out. But I think already the early tests are pretty promising. Um, there's a lot of kinks to work out, but uh, and eventually, I think I can say about the timer that um, it would be an improvement for general ladder games over the current timer that only times someone out for taking 4 minutes for a single decision. So
Yeah, that's just not really a timer. That's just
yeah,
seeing if someone is okay.
so I think I can say basically what my vision is about that timer, and it's not just my vision that matters, but I can say what my vision is anyway. Is that the the timer feature accomplishes three things primarily. So one would be um, that if we find a good setting that would be the default ladder setting, and also something that I would hope is adopted by things like Dominion League, then it would not really be changing the flavor of most of the matches and most of the games. Like most things would still be the same, but some of the very 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 long um, matches might get a little bit faster. But that it wouldn't really make much of a change in that. But also on the ladder, there's a lot of abuse of slow playing that happens. I'm fortunate enough that I don't see it that much anymore, but uh, a lot of people are still suffering because of these trolls that slow play, and I think we're going to make it a little bit harder for them to do that. And then the third thing is oh, people are having trouble hearing me. Wow, I don't know why. Okay, is it any better because I just disconnected and rejoined? No. Can you hear me now? How does it sound now? How does it sound? And can people hear me? Mm. Oh,
Oh, he's still
okay.
here.
So can people hear me now?
I can hear you, but not actually better than last time.
Hmm. I'm really not sure what happened because it was pretty good for a long time, right?
It was good all game long. All the games that we were, yeah, I could just hear you great. But now,
I'm just hoping that if I keep talking, it'll start getting better. So somebody tell me if it starts to get better. I don't have a, other than restarting my computer, I don't have any great ideas.
now it's good.
Now it's
Now
good?
it's good.
Okay. So I don't know. Can somebody tell me what was the last thing? I was trying to mention like three goals about the timer.
Yeah,
And
I heard you say that you wanna prevent abuse
yeah. So,
and you wanna stop games being really long. And the third one, I don't think I've heard about.
okay. So, yeah, when it comes to competitive play, um, it shouldn't impact most competitive play and it shouldn't impact most serious ladder games, except for it might have an impact in those games that are going to take 45 minutes or an hour with super long thinking times. Then it will help to move things along a little bit. That would be the goal for that. In terms of abusive slow playing, it would be like, right now you could have a 20, 30-minute turn by just taking 4 minutes between each click. And with the new timer, your turn isn't going to last more than 5 minutes or 6 minutes, probably something like that. So, like, it reduces the potential for abuse. You could still drag it out some, but you can't drag it out uh, really forever. And then the third thing is to have a blitz timer so that there could be a blitz ladder as well as a normal ladder. And I think a lot of people are looking forward to more rapid Dominion games, and it's like a totally different format. So that's probably the thing that requires the most testing to get it right. Um, but
Yeah, I'm gonna advocate having both rapids and blitz as separate things from.
so right now there's still a ton of discussion happening internally about all of this kind of things, like how should it look, the different settings. Um, so I think one thing that has been said is that like right now, um, oh, I let me bring up my. Well, I was going since I'm recording. I was, but it doesn't really matter. Anyway, right now on the auto match screen, like if you think about, you can select a rated, unrated, or both, and you can select um, like extra rising sun or no extra rising sun or either, or like you don't care. And I guess it's been suggested, and I like the suggestion that for the different timer settings, you could select more than one if you just want to match and you don't care which type of timer setting, like rapid or normal or that kind of thing. So to avoid splitting up the queue too much. But anyway, we're still pretty early on in the discussions of how all of that will go. Uh,
Yeah, and there are some more fixes that should. I mean, I know that Report has some branch where he thinks it fixes the scroll bug, but we still need to get it tested.
oh, the chat scrolling bug. Did somebody ask about that? It's
No, no
definitely
one
on
asked.
our list of things to fix. Um,
No, I think it's on our list of we may have fixed it, but
yeah,
we haven't verified the fix yet.
yeah. Uh, I don't know about stash. Um,
Personally, I'm not interested in having stash at all, but uh,
maybe it's a community discussion for the future, maybe about whether stash should exist on the website. I don't think that there is any major headway on the big problem with the website, but we've been pretty busy with stuff related to the changeover. Um, so I think probably more attention is going to be paid to that soon. Would you say that's right, Steph?
Yeah.
It's a big priority to fix that. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I would say um, quality improvements. That's one of the biggest things. Having the timer, as well as trying to streamline our workflow for handling abuse in general, to just sort of like clean up the
Yeah.
ugliest.
I mean, it may, I don't know how strange it is, but for me, the main reason to want to do the timer early was that it was a really nice thing to kind of teach Breppert what the code works like,
Yeah.
and he could work on something that's yeah, mostly fun to work on, and would because it would also, get people excited about it, and it's just nicer to start building something new than to dig in and find some bugs.
Well, can people hear me now? It sounds like my problem. Yeah, it's back now.
I
Okay.
can hear you just
Yeah.
fine.
It sounded like
You
it
know,
got bad a minute ago. Who knows? Sometimes I just trail off in the middle of a sentence. Maybe that's what happened. Anyway, let's see if we missed any of these questions.
there was a question: will the timer look at things at your time compared to your opponent? The current version does not, but we may still add that.
Yeah, I don't want
And
to.
are there improvements to Lord Reddington from being implemented? Well, it's not something we've worked on right now. I can talk a bit about that in a broader sense, I guess. Um, it's something I neglected for very long. And one of the things that, I mean, even before we went live the first time, okay, uh, never mind about the mute. Before we went live the first time, I decided I wanted the bot to be a separate program, like, and it communicates with the server very much in the same way the client does, which was a way to make sure that the bot would never cheat. Uh, because it just didn't have access to information that the client would not have. But one of the big disadvantages of this was that and another thing I wanted to do was uh, I am now getting a bit confused about whether people can hear me. But
Yeah, I can hear you fine. I have always been able to hear you
yeah,
fine, but it seems like some
okay.
other people cannot hear Steph. Okay.
Well, it's fine. So one of the things I did was make the bot a separate process, and the other was my idea was at some point I wanted to open source the bot, and then therefore I didn't want to put all the server code and make the server code available to the bot, because I wanted to open up the bot and not server code at some point in the future. And then I ended up writing some ugly code for the bot, which, yeah, just well, does not make me very proud at all. And it has always been quite buggy. So one of the things we could consider now is just giving the bot access to the server code at least. And yeah, that's actually pretty close, Sir Lundy.
I would say from my perspective, making improvements to Lord Raddington at least to the point that Lord Raddington doesn't get stuck. uh, is probably on the list, but it's not near the top of the list of things we want to do. Um, and beyond that, I don't know that much. Yeah. So I, and I think, yeah, that's definitely something Breppert had on his radar from early on. Um, I can't say anything about how easy that will be. Just, just making it so that Lord Reddington doesn't get stuck on certain things. Um,
Well, like one of the paths you could do is just try to find all the points where it got stuck now and fix them. But I would prefer the path where we uh, change the way Lord Reddington parses the game. It could just use the same code as the server and give up on the idea that it will be open source, Lord Reddington, and then I think not making it freeze will be relatively simple.
okay. So yeah, yeah,
Open
maybe
source,
it's not.
it would be cool if at some point you could make your own bot.
That would
No,
be
I
cool.
don't think just making the whole server open source is going to work out. I mean, that too much was invested in it to put it out there, and it would. I don't think it would make Donald very happy or Jay. Then people all over the world could just start up their own servers, and yeah,
Yeah, I don't really have a comment on that, but
like I can see at some point the client being open source. I can see certainly the bots being open source, but the whole server, I don't think that's ever going to be in the picture.
mm, let's see. I guess there could be more questions.
I'm looking for questions now.
Customizable Lord Reddington. Yeah, it would be really cool. I mean, one thing I will say is that I'm kind of keeping in mind the niche or niche, if you will, that Dominion Games has in the community and the one that Temple Gates Games app has,
Yeah,
and
Donald. Oh, sorry.
well, just that in terms of playing against a bot, well, if you mostly use Dominion Games, then it's nice to be able to play against a bot on Dominion Games and at least have it not break. But if you want to play against AI just because you want to play against AI, then certainly Temple Gates is the place to do that, right? Whereas Dominion Games is the place for a real competitive Dominion scene and all the benefits of having a web based app. I guess there's a lot of things. I think it's good. Plus, having a client where you don't have to buy, you can just have a cheap subscription by the month is attractive to a lot of people. But anyway, so I see the biggest strength of Dominion Games probably is how good of a format it is for the competitive scene, and I would love to see that just continue to improve and grow, and to grow the competitive scene, grow Dominion League, that kind of thing. So that's kind of where my focus is. But it doesn't mean that Lord Raddington should just be, you know, ignored completely. Sever said, "I'm a math professor." Oh, well, I was a math professor, and about a year and a half ago, I quit my job. So now I'm taking some time off. I've been taking a lot of time off, like to focus on family and mental health and things like that. And now I've added this second shuffle, whatever, to the things that I'm focusing on. But yeah, so I'm a non-practicing mathematician at the moment.
I don't quite understand Donald X's last question. Are we interested in adding the campaign special stuff as non-campaign things? Like what stuff?
Are you saying would we be interested in implementing the campaigns which exist on Temple Gates, or something that's extremely similar to them?
Well, it seems to be not asking for campaigns, but campaign-like
Oh,
things.
you mean like things like shadowify this card or whatever.
No, I don't mean things at all. I don't. I'm just trying to understand what the not X means.
The campaigns themselves require AI, but they have stamps and twists and things. Uh, so I think that's a very interesting question, and I don't know. I mean, I think basically one of the like mandates that our website has is to have the game that's played on the website be basically a faithful recreation of what Dominion by Donald X. Vaccarino is, right? And so if Donald X is saying, well, Dominion Online could be something that includes these other mechanics that come from the campaigns, in yeah, we do have the VQ. Yeah, I'm just saying. So like, so it hadn't occurred to me that those campaign things would exist outside of the campaign. Yes, so I'm aware of those differences from Paper Dominion. Uh, but yeah, so I have. I think if it's a if we could have clear guidance on like how those extra mechanics might fit into like full random, or like what the guidance would be on like how do you decide if a twist is used and that kind of thing. um I don't know. I mean, I'm open-minded about it. uh Ooh, changing the log. Well, I'm not uh changing the log thing is maybe a potentially a big conversation. However, we're speaking of the log, it's another thing that's on our list to have maybe a better way to save the logs and to have the logs for stats purposes, that kind of thing. Um, Basically, we no longer have the really nice statistics that we used to have, and so getting that back is on the list of things that we would like. Um, yeah, I mean the statistics are pretty popular among. I mean, yeah, it's sort of a balance. Like probably the biggest priority things are things that like the like thousands of people that don't check this Discord every day will notice, like the timer and reducing the amount of abuse on the website and things like that. But the statistics is really really exciting for the hardcore players, I know. um, oh, needs the statistics for the campaigns. I don't know about that, but I guess Donald X is saying that those statistics really helped to design the campaigns or something. Uh, Maybe a little bit related to statistics, but not that much. Something I would also like to see is like a player statistics that are tracked by the website. Um, and you can have sort of like player pages where you look at your statistics and stuff like that. I think that would be really cool. I'll just say that I think it would be really cool. It hasn't been worked on yet or anything like that, but um, Marcus does some magic and the statistics. Okay, so Donald X says, Marcus does some magic and the statistics let us generate interesting boards based on looking at how cards work well with other cards. Yeah. Of course, that can happen outside. Yeah, having those statistics, the better the statistics has, the better our stats are, then the more people can do things outside the client with it. And the but we, yeah,
Hmm.
I would say, yeah, there's a lot of things that we are interested in doing, and I just sort of want to give a sense, like we've been talking about stuff for a while, but uh, there wasn't really like new work being done by a new team until not that long ago, and so the focus has been in the time that we've had. The timer has been worked on, and a lot of work was put into stuff related to just transitioning to a new company. And that includes setting up the new payment provider Stripe and making that work. There were some issues with that, and then now we are setting up new, basically all new machines. That so there's just like we're going through some growing pains still, but and we haven't even really, we don't even really have a super organized like priority list of the things that we're going to do. But yeah, and Donald Duck says server issues, chat bug, timer. Those are all good high priorities for sure. Yeah, those are definitely.
Yeah, I would expect. I mean, I don't know. It's always a bit awkward to promise things and then see where it goes. But somewhere this month, for sure, people will be able to play with the timer. Maybe not on the main URL. Maybe at some point we will open up a different URL where you can sort of have a sneak peek
Yeah, I don't know
on.
how long. So I guess there will be like some sort of public beta test of the timer. Maybe would be a good way to put it. Maybe before it starts actually affecting ratings on the main leaderboard. And
Yeah, McKilsnock talked about organizing a tournament with it, like a cute
oh yeah,
birthday thing. That sounds really really fun.
yeah. Mick talked about doing something like Quarantine Cup with the Blitz specifically. Um, and once it's in sort of a public beta. Um, oh, what else was I about to say about that? Now I lost my train of thought. It'll probably come back to me. Oh, I was going to just mention also that um, it will be completely up to the Dominion League moderators when and if the timer gets incorporated into Dominion League, of course. And I happen to be just one of those moderators, but um, I think that I can say that Dominion League has like liked having something like the default table settings be the league default settings thing, that kind of thing. And so if we get a timer that we're really happy about, that we don't think will make very many waves, but will get rid of some of the things that people don't like, and it becomes the primary timer used for rated, the sort of primary standard ladder, I would predict that Dominion League will adopt it at some point not long after that. But that's not my place to say really. But yeah, but I guess that's also to say that like I don't know what the timeline would be for that, for any changes happening with Dominion League. Um, yeah, maybe I just shouldn't say anything about Dominion League, but I do have a lot of, I'm invested in Dominion League. Let's put it that way. How open are Person Man says, how open are you to potentially working with specific community members on particular features in the future? A bunch of us are programmers and have expressed willingness to provide volunteer labor. Probably various required hassles with NDAs and such.
I don't think the NDAs are that much of a problem. I mean, there are a few weeks or months that people will be working on new expansions, and around those there are NDA problems for sure. But I mean, there are also lots of months that we're not working on secret cards, and especially in the client, then there aren't all that many secrets. At least not as far as I'm considered
Yeah, I
concerned.
mean, it's a little.
But the main thing is that how yeah, it's a bit asking how useful would it be. It takes a bit of digging into before you can actually contribute. On the other hand, in the past, there were several people who managed to do it.
Yeah, I guess at least one in particular.
Yeah,
Uh,
Severi has done a lot, and
yeah.
but before him, others as well.
Um, yeah, I mean, it's possible. It's tricky in terms of, I don't know. I think having.
Especially if you're interested in making changes client side, I think it could be relatively easy. Like at some point, I gave all the translators access to the source of the client as well. Yeah, so they can just put their translations in there. Yeah.
I mean, we wouldn't completely ignore proposals that people had, I guess. Um, but yeah, I don't know. And are there any other planned changes to default table settings? I mean, I do. I don't think that this is directly what Rosie is asking, but uh, I think that there is a planned, or it's on our list somewhere as a thing that we would like to have, like a league match table setting that makes it, or something like that that sort of makes it have the default things for league. I'm not sure. I know this has been talked about in the past, not recently at all. Yeah, some sort of tournament mode. Maybe that will have automatically alternating starting player. I'm not sure about that. Um, but yeah, maybe.
Just the simple things, keeping score, and I mean, of course, the rules might vary a bit for tournaments.
Yeah, but I think I'm interested in improving the experience for like spectating also. So like Um, I would like to see like league matches and highly rated ladder matches are like on the top of some sort of spectator tab where it's easy to see from directly from the website like what kind of exciting games are being played so you can watch that. Um, and
Yeah,
that's
I like that a lot.
so the website will have if the website already knows that something is a league match that also involved in that. But changes to things like card lists.
What I can you mention some specific change that you might
Yeah, I mean,
find
uh,
interesting, Rasmus?
if you're talking about, I don't have any idea in mind that anything related to that would change, and certainly it's up to Donald X to change like what's allowed in terms of the card lists, and he has been pretty firm about not wanting to, for example, ban more cards or anything like that. But I'm not sure if that's what's being asked.
No,
Um,
like lists were designed to be default off.
Yeah, I personally like using like lists, but I also like using what the community likes, and the community seems to
I
like
think you're
lists
wrong,
being
person man. Some people definitely want them on.
by default. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess like if everybody agreed with me, then we would have like lists on by default. I guess, but I don't want to make that change because I know it would be unpopular because it's been. I mean, in Dominion League at least, I'm pretty sure at some point we pulled it and people like it the way it is. That by default it's not on. So like, but I mean, I still personally sometimes ask my opponent if they want to turn like list on for league matches, if I think that they might be amenable to it. Like Jay Nails and I played with like list on the other day. Uh, so, but yeah, I don't know. I don't. Yeah, CR Lundy mentioned the timer settings will maybe be part of the default table setting, but um,
Okay, I mean, changing things is not the a goal in itself. Maybe if at some point
yeah,
we come up with a great new idea, then that will go in there.
yeah. I'm definitely curious about the campaign mechanics thing that Donald X mentioned. It was not on my radar that that was. I don't know why it wasn't, but it wasn't on my radar that that was like available to us. Um, so that's definitely. I don't know. There'll have to be more conversations about that. But new content uh, could be exciting, obviously. Um,
I would say we have other stuff to do first.
yeah, but it's interesting. Uh, Not all players want that stuff appearing in games, so it would need to be an option. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So I'll be honest, I haven't played the campaigns myself, so the only thing I know about twists and things like that is just from seeing a little bit about it on Discord. And sometimes it seems cool, and sometimes it seems like, oh, that sounds terrible. And I guess that's the way all Dominion stuff is, right? Um, and yeah, so I'd be curious about what Donald X would think about how it would fit into like default tournament play and default rated play. Um, uh, if but if I don't know. I would say I can't imagine that that gets seriously worked on the website before the next expansion, based on the timeline that I've heard about that expansion. But you never. Yeah, I mean, I want to learn more about what might happen there. Yeah, I guess that we would have to have a lot of discussions about how it could be incorporated, and anyway, and make sure that it sort of fit with what Donald X has in mind. But yeah,
Okay.
pretty interesting. Anyway, were there more questions that got missed? Mm, yeah, campaign
I
twists
don't
for.
know how you feel about it, but I think we answered most of the questions that make sense to ask right now. I agree with you, Major, that the table of you needs some serious rework.
Yeah, I think I agree. Uh,
And no, it's not weird taste at all to like black markets. In
no,
fact,
it yeah. I think um,
I've played several league matches, I remember, where we just played with black market on every board.
yeah. So I have a question: is Steph putting any more thought into rejoining Dominion League?
Um, well, the reasons for not joining have changed.
A little bit, I guess.
Like, I think I'm gonna just uh, the reason for not joining was that I didn't want anyone to feel like I was having some kind of unfair advantage, and I think and well, it's not really that the people in the league would think that, but I just didn't want any discussion about it,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I can leave that behind me now. So now it's more of a personal thing with Luke. Well, he's going to be 1 year old in a week from now. Uh, I have a bit of trouble finding the time right now,
Okay.
but that may, of course, be different in a few months from here.
Yeah. Though it was before people knew that it was me and Breppert, I guess, was also a league mod at the time that it was being talked about. The league mods, like it was brought up to the league mods, like, do they think that there's any kind of conflict or problem? And they basically were very supportive. And I'm still playing in Dominion League.
Yeah.
So yeah.
In the meanwhile, there was this discussion between me and Person Man, and uh, I mean, I actually have put in quite a bit of work on a new table thing at some point, and
Well, I guess
that never got finished, unfortunately. But my solution for this, but with allowing text descriptions uh, with people hosting their games, was to only allow that for people who were subscribers to the site. So uh, at that point, this content moderation problem kind of solves itself because people won't start writing shitty messages if that means they just lose their subscription.
Well, that sounds nice. I guess that might get picked up in the future. Uh, there's a lot of things to potentially work on, so we have a lot of work to do, even just on the organization front of, you know, prioritizing what gets worked on.
No, we did not talk about this other than, I'm sorry, there's this question from Sir Lundy. We did not talk about it much, other than saying it's a big priority. And to be honest, I'm not really sure what I can say about it more than that at this point.
I mean, I can say that that it hasn't been possible to make trying to fix the big server problems, like it hasn't been possible for the last month or two to make that the primary focus, but probably before long it will be possible to devote time to looking at that more deeply at that problem. And I'm much farther from than Steph from knowing how much time it will take. But
Yeah, and I don't know either.
yeah, but I think yeah, I think we will solve it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, yeah, maybe this is a good point to stop. It's not going to be the best video because I didn't capture any video, only basically it's audio, and but I will post a
That's
video.
fine. I don't think it's all that interesting. It was more for the people who are in this chat right now, and then
Well, I think it's
yeah.
interesting. But yeah,
Okay.
anyway. Yeah, thanks for doing this with me.
Yeah, and thanks everyone for watching.
Yeah.
And it was an interesting match.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
it was. Congrats again to VR Smith.
okay.
All right.
So I'm gonna say bye.
Yeah, bye. See you tomorrow.